640 Toronto.
Fuck off! Jesus
American Monday
Christ.
afternoon. It is Monday. It is April the 19th, 2021.
Yeah, so
So,
we've been through about
that was
15
everyone's
minutes
weekend.
of fucking digital harassment
It was
from
a
Chomo.
weekend
If you want to know where he
well,
was,
we
he was
weren't
at the
allowed,
food bank.
or
It's
we weren't
Monday.
supposed to basically be
If you want to
doing
know,
anything.
yeah, keep it up, Chomo.
But
Yeah.
everybody, I mean everybody, was certainly doing one thing, and that's
You need a
talking.
real internet connection, pussy.
That finally happened
So Chomo was
just
at the
after 4
food bank
o'clock
for the
last
last
Friday
2 hours. That's
afternoon,
why we got away
and
with
landed
3 hours of
with
running.
a resounding thud from the Ontario government. And as we know by now, there were charges of the Ford government turning Ontario into a police state, giving broad new powers to police forces that they didn't even want. They didn't want them.
And the intro
Several police forces denouncing the move shortly after, which had many questioning the premier.
Yeah, keep it up,
If
Chomo.
any,
Keep it.
happened
I'm
with
yelling
police
at me the
forces
things I
prior
say
to this
about you,
announcement
as
being
though
made
somehow
Friday
I'll get
afternoon.
confused and think it's
As I mentioned, just everybody was talking about so many things from this announcement on a Friday. Let's bring Mary in here quickly off the top. Mary, when you look back at that press conference on Friday, was there something that really stood out for you?
Well, I think that the big shocking piece was the closing of outdoor recreation, which of course was walked back. But I think when we all heard that, from the scientists and from the medical experts saying that's good for physical and mental health, and so that was shocking. And as well, the second piece that I think was a jaw dropper for many of us, and again, we heard others walk back on this, is the piece about police stopping you on your way to somewhere to ask you if it's essential. That really seemed odd.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you say outdoor recreation, they got walked back somewhat on Saturday. Playgrounds, kids' playgrounds, of course, have reopened, but things like golf, tennis, pickleball, all of that is still off limits. And it had a lot of people, a lot of my friends kind of talking this weekend, wondering, I don't know, did the outdoors just suddenly become more dangerous? I mean, did things change?
Yeah, it's at a point where we're all feeling we need a break, and we need to recharge the battery, and being outdoors and having the physical activity is a big part of that. Doesn't matter how old you are. So, yeah, it just seems so odd. And I thought to myself, that presser arrived 2 hours late because we were going to go with it during our show on Friday, 2 hours late. And they still ended up making some changes after. And those who would be asked to enforce that, number of different police organizations said, yeah, don't worry, folks, we're not going to pull you over to ask you where you're going. So it just seemed like a bit of a mess.
Yeah, I'm wondering what that says to people because, I jokingly said at the beginning of Friday's show, the premier is due to speak at 2:30 this afternoon, which means will really be 3:30. And as soon as those words left my lips, well, we got the word that indeed it was going to be 3:30. Then we were told later it was going to be 4 o'clock, and it was somewhat after 4, like I think 10 after maybe 4 o'clock. Yeah, that they finally get up to the microphone. So I'm wondering what that says to people because this is not the first time. And again, we talked about this back on Friday. The bigger the announcement, it seems, the later it goes and the further it gets pushed from its original announcement time. And does that leave, do you think, Mary, a lot of people saying to themselves, well, this is a government that's searching right up to the last minute, that they really don't have a plan in place? Because, I mean, let's just look at the policing thing again for a second, because as I just mentioned as well, there's a lot of police forces that have said no. They've denounced that move shortly after it came out. And so then a lot of people were saying to themselves, well, did the government talk to police and police forces beforehand? Did they tell them what was coming? Did they get them on side? Were they on board when it came to this?
I think not, by all evidence, to the fact that so many different groups of people who would enforce that, police, said, hang on a second, we're not going to do that. So I think it shakes people's confidence at a time where we really need the leadership and clear, decisive moves that are going to help us move forward through this now third wave. And also, not consulting with those who are the experts who would give advice and reinforce. It doesn't appear as though those groups police, doctors, medical professionals are not really being consulted in a fulsome kind of way before these big advisories are being delivered.
Well, not being consulted or not being heard and their advice not being taken, because also making news over the weekend when we're talking about doctors and health officials who have disagreed with this new path forward, not the least of which is, how about this, the head of the provincial science table who said he considered resigning after Friday's press conference. And we're actually going to talk with him coming up in about 10 minutes from now, so stay tuned for that. Just ahead here on Global News Radio 640 Toronto. We will get back to the pandemic and COVID here in just a second. But first up, let's talk some uplifting news, if you will, pardon the pun, because the Mars helicopter, it took flight. It took off earlier this morning. And for more on this, we're joined now by Dr. Sarah Mazrui from Ryerson University, who joins us here on Global News Radio 640 Toronto. Doctor, very good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I love the pun there.
Well, every once in a while, we find one. Tell us about what NASA was able to pull off earlier today.
Yeah, so we had the first helicopter take off on Mars, basically, or anywhere outside of the Earth. So the Ingenuity helicopter had its first successful flight on Mars.
All right, and what is the greatest challenge? I can only imagine there's several, obviously, but what is flying a helicopter that's on the red planet?
Yeah, there's definitely multiple challenges. Pushes the atmosphere to Earth. Our helicopters work with 400 to 500 revolutions per minute to go off, so our RPM. But on Mars, to spin really fast, so 2,500 revolutions per minute to be able to lift off.
Wow.
That was one of the biggest challenges. Yeah.
Yeah, when I read that earlier this morning, that really put it into perspective for me, just how much ingenuity and how much power and engineering we needed to pull this off. And I understand that the helicopter is it's already gathering data. Do we know what we're learning?
It is. So since it is the first helicopter on another planet, the biggest thing is sort of
so as at the very beginning of the video, and Chomo probably missed it because he's got a crappy internet connection. Yes, we've been getting harassed the last 20 minutes by Chomo. Why did he bother us? Come on, show me these edited photos. That's good, bro. That's good, bro. It's
those are the
disgusting.
types
I
of
don't want to
data
see
that
that.
we're going to be receiving, so images and information about
Keep showing me those edited photos, you disgusting piece of shit. So he was busy at the food bank the last 2 hours.
One of the challenges as well is that it's not like we can directly get data from it. It has to send information back to the Perseverance rover that it went up with. So it has to tell Perseverance all the data first. Then Perseverance has to send that information into an orbiter that's going around Mars. And then that orbiter has to send information to the the network, the communication network here on Earth, and then that communication network sends it to NASA. So it's a whole lot of, it's sort of like a telephone game. You sort of have to keep passing on the information along.
Let's talk a bit about the images, because we did get some images this morning from the helicopter. And once again, these are just mind-blowing what we're seeing. We're seeing Mars in detail like we've never witnessed before. I don't know, to me, these images are, they're like HD, high def compared to what we've seen from outer space previously.
Absolutely. So we do have orbiters that go around and take pretty good images. But you can imagine there's nothing like having a helicopter be able to go into places and take images. We've had rovers that go around and take pictures too. But think about it, if you're sort of on the side of the cliff, you can't really send your rover into it. But if you have a little mini helicopter or a drone, you...
A helicopter. Keep it up, Chomo. Come on. It's disgusting, the edits he does to the photos and shows me.
We have an update now on a missing persons investigation in Richmond Hill. York Regional Police now say investigators are treating the disappearance of 30-year-old Kevin Bonanno Rosas as a homicide. Roses was last seen in 2018 at his home on Elmwood Avenue and reported missing by his family 5 days later. Police say the Homicide Bureau will be looking into several locations but will not disclose them at this time. Anyone with info, though, is asked to contact police. Well, a joint forces police investigation has led to the dismantling of a large-scale international drug trafficking ring with ties to the GTA, along with Western Canada, the U.S., and even India. York Regional Police Inspector Ryan Hogan says the year-long investigation, dubbed Project Cheetah, led to the seizure of over $2.3 million in drugs, including cocaine, heroin, and opium. He says police in Ontario, BC, and California raided 50 sites, including a playland in Brampton.
As a result of the investigation, we have over 20 people facing over 100 criminal charges, ranging from conspiracy to traffic to trafficking and possession of proceeds of crime. Additionally, we've seized over $700,000 in Canadian currency that we're alleging is the direct proceeds from drug trafficking crimes.
Now, Inspector Hogan says the drugs were distributed across the country through a sophisticated system run by those traffickers. You're listening to 680 News. It's now 1:19. The city of Minneapolis bracing for a verdict in the murder trial of Derek Chauvin. CNN's Josh Campbell is there and says that city has now become a fortress.
You see members of the National Guard, you see members of law enforcement, local law enforcement, the state police in and around the city, and you see fencing that's up. There is now razor wire surrounding all 5 of the city's police precincts, and just this image of members of the National Guard throughout is simply stunning. And it's not just around downtown and buildings. I was actually driving out, looking out on the freeway. You have members of the National Guard on overpasses as lookouts, just preparing for any eventuality as this trial ends up wrapping up. We know also there are additional precautions being taken here. The city schools will move to virtual learning on Wednesday out of an abundance of caution. They don't want students and parents in and around the downtown area as these deliberations continue.
Now, we should note that closing arguments are taking place in that trial right now. Coming up 60 seconds from now, though, we'll have a look at traffic and the extended forecast.
City News Time, 1:20.
This is Superman Napatia. You see me driving a lot of SUVs, but I have
too many SUVs.
With a proven multi-million-dollar system, are the #1 RE/MAX team in Toronto and the GTA. Now, they met with Alan and listened to his goals. What he wanted.
So we're waiting on a federal budget, and whatever's happening at Queen's Park, there's going to be something. It's fun. I guess we got time to kill smoking a joint, if nothing else.
The high-performance DeWalt universal attachment 60-volt max DeWalt string trimmer.
They put a rechargeable battery and a panel on the helicopter. What's the helicopter got to do with getting good imagery? I thought that rover thing, the rovers already had cameras on them and microphones, which revealed that there's wind. Apparently, why would you fly a little freaking helicopter? The fuck, bro? This is some weirdo shit. It's a face app thing, yeah. It's a face app thing. It's some weirdo shit. What you're doing? You're finger painting on an iPad. That's all you're doing, bro. You're not inside my head. You're showing me the inside of your head, and it's disgusting, though. So I've got the strangest bug in the world where every time I look straight at the camera, it freezes. Right. That's normal. Yep. Oh, wow. More edits of my eyes. I forgot. That's the other thing. Eyes closed. Of course. You're going to show me my eyes closed. What does that mean? What does that mean, Shomo? Come on, get a real fucking internet connection, Shomo. This waiting, that's the irritating part, bro. Jesus fucking Christ.
Let me show you how to shine in this moment of time. I need the whole subject to know that it's mine. If I slip and I fall, who gon' catch me? If I'ma fuck it all up, or you just gon' stand there and let me with friends like these. From these enemies, close my eyes, I don't wanna see. Said most of the world, so it was, so it'll be. Until we wake the fuck up, yeah, I've been a G. But that ain't all the history. Me and Lady Luck,
2 full fucking minutes, though. Come on.
Physically.
You're such a fucking hack. You're missing the fucking thing, bro. Wow, up and down. It took 2 full fucking minutes.
Rappers suck, I know y'all been waiting on me. Yeah, mama used to do it, now the boys say the same shit. Fucking other families do it.
That
only thing you when you in the corner.
Every time I look towards the screen is when it's gonna lock up. Thank you. That makes a lot of sense, Jomo. Everybody knows those fucking glitches.
Everybody's computer does that. You look at it and it stops working, right?
See, I can't see what I'm fucking doing because this idiot keeps fucking jamming it up using face app or some shit. He really thinks he's like a super genius hacker. He keeps showing me the more I say I can see the photos but edited, the more he edits the next fucking shot he shows me. Like, I don't know that this is a camera.
Had a hard life, me too. Don't worry, I got something in the deck we can nod to.
Jesus fucking Christ. Get a real internet connection, Sean. Holy fuck, it's the waiting that's fucking irritating. Nobody gives a fuck if you fuck with their TV set, bro. It's a TV, nobody cares. Nobody. We know. You'd be out creeping little kids' tablets right now. You weren't bothering us. We know. That video is, yeah, show me my eyes closed. Show me my eyes closed. That's good. This video is entirely buffered. It just ran through this entire section. Show me my eyes closed. Show me my eyes closed. Make the video skip. Show me my eyes closed. Make the video skip. Show me my eyes closed. It's classic denial of service, bro. You're not a hacker. Remember, this guy's biggest thing today is going fuck when he sees me. You're gonna fucking die, bro. You keep wearing a sheet of plastic on your face is all I'm gonna fucking remind you of.
For as long as I can, I'm gonna leave them there waiting on me. And all this rappers suck, I know y'all been waiting on me. Yeah, mama used to do it, now the boys say the same shit. Put another
so like 10 fucking minutes ago, I started putting this video.
When you in the corner flexing, like you would tell you, any man come against me, I'm a sniper. Heard somewhere in the Bible it says we built just like them, so we guard like, but we not like by God. All my dogs know there's no days off. How much do you want? How much will it cost to see it hurts less if you put the band-aid off? My life moves too fast, tell me how to hit bars. All I know is gas, how he beat the sport, but to set it off, been a blast. I got hard times in the rear view, something in the deck I can nod to. I got hard times in the rear view, something in the deck I can nod to. Something in the deck I can nod to. Had a hard life, me too. Don't worry, I got something in the deck we can nod to. Keep hard times in review. Something in the deck I can nod to. You had a hard life, me too. Don't worry, I got something in the deck we can nod to. I got something in the deck we can nod to. I got something in the deck we can nod to. Check it out, though. I'm presented by my vanity, past My sanity, foolish man care only for degrees. Intelligent man plan for a season ahead. Gotta have enough food for the winter. Yeah, I'm guilty, but my mama told me better. There's days when I felt like I couldn't go any further. Wake up in the morning, I don't even wanna get up. Dear God, yeah, we fed up. 2020 is all about keeping your head up. Are you coming back or did you forget us? I'll wait here for a while, I guess.
It's a 2-inch wide fucking strip of bright light. Bro, anybody would see it. A human being. So.
Got a few friends gone that I always miss, and I was there when they lost my grandfather. Felt like I should have cried, but my anger wouldn't let me feel for a stranger.
All sex offenders are narcissists. Okay, well, we'll wait till you're done here. Yeah, keep showing me poorly edited photos of me with my eyes closed. So all sex offenders are narcissists. They all think they're smarter than everybody. You could call it a God complex. They're the ones that are obsessed, and they will always make it how you're obsessed with them. It's this is the shit we're dealing with right now. But he won't fuck off. Will not fuck off. Every last one of them's the same. Pathological. So, yeah, psychopaths don't look at your eyes. The reason they're all flipping the fuck out lately is because everybody's got their mouth covered, and they stare at your mouth. They stare at your mouth. That's how they get their information. They don't look in your eyes. Yes, up and down, up and down, up and down. Okay, but that doesn't count because I'm looking right at the camera right now, and everybody can see that. So, Chomo's thing is, from here, he's getting away with some big sneaky thing if he makes it go up and down, because over here I can't see it because human beings can't see to here. Yeah, keep showing me my eyes. Edited shut. That's great. Yeah, keep doing the up and down thing, bro. That's his thing. On the TV, it's up and down. On the cell phone, it's in and out. That's his big hack. That's his gigantic fucking exploit. That's how fucking special he is. It's the SolarWinds have 4,000 plus lines of corrupted code. It's been installed on millions of devices. He thinks he's special. Now you'll notice he was using 36 different exploits 6 months ago, and now he's using one. And for some reason, dumbass is allowed to do this. He's allowed to throw blood in people's face. The cop's first words are, "Oh, you don't need an HIV test because of blah blah blah." Not because he doesn't have HIV, because of some other made-up reason, really. And he's yelling at me that he's going to give me HIV, blah, 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 blah. How is this person allowed to even be outside? He's no sex offender. This is a gang of fucking sex offenders. It's considered a non-violent offense in Canada. Raping a child is considered a non-violent offense in Canada. They're constantly released to the fucking street. You get caught with a pound of weed, you're going to be in there 6 months easy.
Plus I got my mama's pride. We gon' make it through the day, we gon' be alright. Trying to learn from life's lessons, especially from the losses. Gotta respect the process. You know you just another call. Get crucified, burned alive, struck a pop. You don't play your part, play along. Tell me who wins the game if in the end all the players are gone. Losers always say they right, even when they know they wrong. The only real mistake is not learning from your mistakes at all. Like the face of a clown, the smiles of frowns. Sometimes you gotta paint them on. Split the closed tongue so we can sing a song. Laying on my back, trying to count the stars. Something about the night sky makes me wish I had wings. And if I did, I would fly so far away from here. Keep calling him my man.
That shit about real something about
hard times in the rear view. Something in the deck I can nod to. You had a hard life, me too. Don't worry, I got something in the deck we can nod to. Keep hard times in the rear view. Something in the deck I can nod to. You had a hard life, me too. Don't worry, I got something in the deck we can nod to. I got something in the deck we can nod to. I got something in the deck we can nod to.
Now notice, I berate the computer for 5 fucking minutes, whoever's on the other end, and all the problems stop. Wouldn't you love it if your computer worked that way? I just called the internet at large a pedophile for 5 fucking minutes straight, and all the problems I was having went away. Think about that.
Don't worry, I got something in the deck we can nod to. Keep hard times in the rear view. Something in the deck I can nod to. You had a hard life, me too.
So this is very, very convenient. See, the thing is, you're showing me a picture where my eyes are clamped shut, but there's something in front of my face, like I'm doing something, but my eyes are clamped shut, which is not fucking possible. Well, what does closed eyes mean to a South African child rapist, bro? Oh, please. Oh, what the fuck you fucking on here? It's gonna be this way all fucking day. He's on his machine now, whatever device it is gonna be this all fucking day. One problem after a fucking other. You found, yeah, up and down. Wow, you're so creative. Dude, you gotta pick one hack at a time to do it.
Feel it, I'm the realest, the hottest in the city, regardless of what city I'm in. Getting paid for my rhymes, like proceeds across.
Fucking idiot. You're not wise, bro. It doesn't matter if I've got these menus and bars and shit on the screen. If I can still hear the audio, you still. Remember, this idiot's when he first started admitting who he was on these comments. Yeah, keep showing me my eyes closed. Keep showing me my eyes. I'm looking directly at the fucking screen, bro. So, when he first started admitting who he was in the comments, the first thing out of his mouth, he said, "You're muted, retard. You're muted, retard." Every fucking video in a row. All pedophiles are the same. They never change. They will never lose their obsession. If they had a focus on your kid before, that focus will never go away. Oh, he's mad. He's mad. He's mad.
The thorn and bleed just to smell the rosebud. In the search of other things, maybe God will notice me if I blink. That's what it sounds like when the pistol sing. Mama checking the obituaries, hoping she don't see me. She cry when they talk about the boy on TV. Wake up some mornings and I don't want a baby. They say the criminal or gangster is all he'll ever be. Like there's nothing positive in me. I am positive you're not getting rid of me, at least not that easily.
Even my blood is type negative.
I just wake up and crush the day. In the rush to get paid to the devil, he can wait. I got people on my serve on the way. I just wake up and crush the day. In the rush to get paid, tell God to look away. Somebody wanna see it, yeah. I just wake up and crush the day. I just wake up and crush the day. In the rush to get paid, tell the devil he can wait. I got people on my serve on the way. I just wake up and crush the day. In the rush to get paid, tell God to look away. This ain't what you wanna see. I just wake up and crush the day. Yeah, they say home is where the heart is, but back home now you can consider me an artiste. Most my friends grew up not knowing who their father is. Nothing in their fridge, you can see their ribs. Yep, this is how we live. Coming from a place that had nothing left to give, nothing left to take. There's nothing on the plate, but I'm dreaming of a steak. Everything is stake. I gamble with my life, either 5 stars or behind bars. Lock the jaws, we holding on. Pump up, pass it on, cause I'm from K2. What I've been through ain't what you've been through, but I feel you, yeah, it's true. Everything outside your window waiting to kill you. You think you know, but you ain't got a clue. Hear me out, Sherlock. Ain't no such thing as a short shot. It's a cold block, and I just want what you got. It's real talk. Don't make a scene, just give it up. That's how it is. Where the fuck I'm from? Where the fuck I'm from? Where the fuck I'm from? Yeah. I just wake up and crush the day. In the rush to get paid, tell the devil he can wait. I got people on my serve on the way. I just wake up and crush the day. In the rush to get paid, tell God to look away. Somebody wanna see it, yeah. I just wake up and crush the day. I just wake up and crush the day. In a rush to get paid, tell the devil he can wait. I got people on my serve on the way. I just wake up and crush the day. In a rush to get paid, tell God to look away. This ain't what you wanna see. I just wake up and crush the day. Yeah. Don't hustle for me, dog. Do it for yourself. off. I know letting that heat off is for their health. I got sharps on the cell. If you scared to stay in the house, you want on me. Looking at 5 to 10. This might be the last rhyme you ever hear me spit. No regrets, fuck that. I got many. I be a rich man for everyone. I got a penny. Sometimes reality hits you like a semi. Gets you when you ain't ready. Sucker punch, but destiny keeps you guard up. I'm on my knees, praying.
I couldn't make up this guy's pathology.
I'm running out of tears, still praying for my homie. All the kids.
If you say what a normal human being does, he does not believe it at all. I can see the screen. There's no big scam or getting away with something sneaky. You're not a hacker. You're a child molester, but you're not a hacker. You're using scripts you found on the dark web. This is your big thing. You're going to keep repeating to me, screaming at me over and over, up and down, in and out. That's what you're doing. You're screaming, you're a pedophile. You hate anybody that doesn't like pedophiles. You hate niggers, you hate women, you hate chinks, and you're screaming up and down, and you're screaming in and out.
It's like this, the violence is endless, the pain is true. The only thing you ever knew, holding money for your avenue.
Mad.
Raindrops keep falling on my windows. Misery goes where the wind blows. I'm blowing on the endo, trying not to stress it. There's drugs in my dresser. Death or jail, we got no options. What's the question? 'Cause I ain't paying attention. Most poor kids crap was the greatest invention.
I know you don't get this. Every single track about the same thing. You don't seem to understand that. You hear the lyric 18 fucking times and all of a sudden you flip out. You're cattle, bro. You're a custy. You're a custy, bro. You're a custy. You're a custy. You're a custy. All the money comes back in the end.